You hear that silence? Yeah, that was our reaction to the end of the Jaguars-Chargers game.
After it settled in that we came back from a 27-point deficit.
I cheered when it happened, but like very short because I was just taking it all in. I was looking around. I was high-fiving everyone in my section, but I was looking around at everyone's expression of elation of just like I don't know. I've never seen that before in this city. And
that was your first playoff game, wasn't it?
That was my first playoff game. I'm 1-0 in the playoffs.
Must be nice.
Hey, I mean, you got a good record.
Going to games, I'm now 3-0 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go into obviously 2007 or 2005, and definitely not in the 90s. But, dude, that game on Saturday night.
Be honest with me.
Yeah.
Halftime. Were you having thoughts about leaving early?
So I told my two cousins that if it got, this is after 27-0. If it got to 34-0, I'm bouncing. So then when we scored the first touchdown in the end of the first half, I was like, okay, I'm staying. And I called it. My two cousins, I literally told them, Trevor's throwing for 5 touchdowns. I had faith in him still. After that drive, I had faith. He had thrown for 4 in the game. But at the time, I said he's going to throw for 5. After that first touchdown, I was like, he's going to throw 4 more. I was 1 short, but, man, I did not think we were going to come back and win that game. I was texting Julia. She was asking me, are you having fun, blah, blah, blah. I said, I mean, I'm having fun, other than the fact that we're getting our butts kicked on national television. I told her I have a 1% chance of hope right now. Then I texted her update. Yeah, I'm at 20% now. Then I'm at 30%. Then I'm at 50%. Then I'm at holy crap, we could win this game. Like, the emotions that we all felt on Saturday.
A roller coaster. It's
been our season.
It's been our mantra of the year.
It's been the season. It's been since we started off 2-1 when we shut out the Colts after we beat the Chargers' ass in LA. Like, we were on a high. Yep. Then we went down low. We started losing games. Then after the London game, things switched. We beat the Raiders. Then we lost to the Chiefs, which is expected, which we'll touch on the Chiefs later.
We were, 3-7 at that point, I think?
Believe so, yeah. And then we have not lost. We have not lost. Oh, we lost to the Lions.
I was going to say, I was going to wait for you to catch it. But
yeah. Okay, after the Lions game, we have not lost. That was early December. We have gone pretty much undefeated in December.
And they were one of the hottest teams in the NFL at that point, too. So,
yeah.
That's that. But
all of the end of 2022 went on a 5-game winning streak.
Haven't lost in 23.
Yeah, which I thought I was like, oh crap, we haven't. We're 3-0 in 2023.
My situation was similar to yours, except it was with Elisa. Elisa was like texting her cousin and her friend saying, "Yeah, I'm bored and I'm ready to go. Keith doesn't want to leave yet. He just wants to wait and see." And I told her, I'm like, I don't leave early. I don't think I've ever left early. I
have left early.
I don't think I have. If it wasn't for parents making me leave early, I don't think I've left early for anything. So.
I've left early. There was games I left early when the Jags had no talent. I've been going to games when they were bad.
Yeah, well, hey, granted, I've turned off the game plenty of times.
Yeah,
but I've not left the stadium early.
I've left the stadium multiple times. But for some reason, I just didn't want to leave because I'm like, I was listening to part of my take, and they were saying, credit the Jags fans. At that point, that stadium was filled, and they've been waiting for years for a playoff football game, and the fans never left the stadium.
Yeah, there was people making comments around me right after halftime saying, "Oh, look how empty it is," and in my mind, I'm like,
they're going to the
it's still stand. Halftime. Like, people are still like getting food and stuff like that. So like maybe 3 or 4 minutes into the third quarter, it filled itself back out. It was not 100% capacity. I know that because my row, the people to my left and the people to our right all left, and I was thankful for that. So I had more room to run around and go crazy. But that was surreal, man.
So obviously the national media has been talking about, is this more on the Chargers blowing it, or are you more impressed with the Jaguars' comeback? I've got a question for you.
Hit me.
What was the play that you were like, This just changed the entire game. I'll give you 3 options. The touchdown at the end of the first half.
Okay.
The missed field goal by the Chargers in the fourth quarter, mind you. Or the 4th and 2 play call.
It was the missed field goal for me. Once they missed that field goal, I thought the door was legitimately opened.
Or, I'm
Granted,
sorry, the missed field goal was in the third quarter. Sorry.
Yeah. I was happy.
I'm sorry, it was the 4th. I'm misreading this.
It was early in the 4th.
Yeah.
The first play you mentioned, the first touchdown, I was like, okay, that's cool. I didn't think the game was changing per se because they went down and kicked a field goal right after that, I believe. So it was just like, okay, well, they're still scoring. We still can't stop them.
No, they didn't score in opening drive in the third quarter.
Okay, well, they still scored before we scored.
They drove down the field and they punted. So they drove to our 38 and then punted.
Sure. But I think the tide was turning once they missed that field goal. I think momentum was coming. And did we score that next drive? Was that the Zay Jones touchdown?
After the missed field goal?
Yeah.
It was the Christian Kirk touchdown.
Oh, the Christian Kirk one. Okay. Still, that was the time where I was like, okay, we got a real shot. The guy at the very end of my row was one of those, I don't know kind of guys. And I was like, I don't need your energy right now. And the guy behind me was like really smart, I think. I don't know. He just seemed smart, but he kept saying like the right things. He was calling plays. I was like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. So him and I were getting hyped together. And then that 4th down play call was the biggest balls plays. Like
I have
Jameer Nelson big ball stance.
So my turning point was the missed field goal as well. But man, when that Marvin Jones touchdown, the second touchdown, when we got 27-13.
I thought it got picked off again.
When it got to 27-14, I literally told my cousin, I was like, what are the Chargers good at? Choking.
I don't even know what they're really good at.
I mean, they've just notoriously been known for choking. When it got to 30-14 with 3:02 left in the third quarter, I was like, okay, we score here quick. We are in this game. And what do? 3 minutes later, we score. Zay Jones is wide open in the left side of the field. And then it's 30-20, and I'm like, okay, we have a shot. The missed field goal led to a touchdown, led to Joey Bosa being such a little crybaby.
What a weenie.
Bro, Joey Bosa can get over it. There were so many missed calls in that game, and not just that game, all weekend for Super Wildcard weekend. They were bad officiating. Bad. So Joey can get over it. He's going to have to pay a $100,000 fine, I'm sure, for what he said after yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He was not happy about the officiating, but
I don't know why he's so unhappy. They're the ones who lined up off sides, and they made more stupid mistakes in the long run. So,
but thank you, Joey Bosa, because if it wasn't for that unsportsmanlike, we would have never gone for 2.
Yeah.
And then Trevor with the balls of steel just to put the ball over the goal line and just put it back.
Made the play call himself. That was not the play that was called, and he audibled. Well, he didn't audible. He just did it.
Yeah.
And Dougie P was like, yeah, it was great because it worked. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's usually how those things
and then
go.
The 4th down call in the fourth quarter when we are down 2. Phil Rauscher, whatever his first name, I think it's Rauscher, Phil Rauscher. He's the one who gave the play call. He's the one who wanted that play call. And it worked.
Beautiful.
It worked. When ETN got the ball, I was like, oh, he's got the first down. When he got past the line of scrimmage, I was like, oh, he could take it to the house. But then he eventually got tackled. But I'm like, the field goal set up everything. But, man, that Marvin Jones touchdown for me was when the tide started shifting slowly. And then it turned into a 180, and the Jaguars just came back and won the 3rd largest comeback in playoff history.
Which I want to note on that on the kick. First of all, I didn't realize that he barely made that.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was not a great kick, but hey, it went in. Who cares? That's hindsight. It is what it is. Did you know at the time that there was an offsides call? Or there was a penalty on the play?
No, because I was jumping up and down.
I was freaking screaming and jumping. I had no idea.
I didn't know there was a flag until I got home when everyone was complaining about Al Michaels and Tony Dungy. And then they're like, the third biggest comeback in NFL history. And Al Michaels is focusing on a flag. Which I understand. But, like, dude, you're calling the 3rd largest comeback, 27 points, the biggest comeback in Jaguars history, mind you, and the biggest blown lead in Chargers history. Like, you got to show some more emotion.
No, he doesn't have it. He mailed it in the entire season.
To be fair,
granted, the Thursday night slate wasn't great. Yes, I get it. But it's your job.
Yeah.
It is literally your job. I don't want to hear, oh, but the games were bad. I don't give a shit. I know guys like Gene Deckerhoff could call a great game.
Gene's also the GOAT.
Yeah, well, he is the GOAT, but there's a reason he's the GOAT. He can make a bad game sound good. He can make the other team making a good play sound like your team is doing something good. I always like that about him because he's just, he's a true professional. He's a great guy.
So 2 things about this game that are mind-blowing. According to Next Gen Stats, trailing 27-0 with 3:18 remaining in the second quarter, the Jaguars just had a 1.2% chance of winning.
I'm surprised we had a 1.2.
The Jaguars' late-game comeback goes down as the 5th most improbable of the season, which...
5th most improbable of just this season?
Yes. The only one I can think of that would be more improbable would be the Vikings-Colts game a few weeks ago. But I don't know what other ones. I'd have to look at to see the schedules and who blew leads. But another key interesting stat. On the 4th and inches call on the ETN run, the Jaguars offense lined up with 3 players in the backfield. It was the 6th time an offense has lined up with 3 players in the backfield on 4th down. The Jaguars accounted for half of them. Doug Peterson is one of the greatest play callers I've ever seen.
That is incredible. You want a bad stat? I got one for you. Well, it's not really bad in hindsight, but Trevor Lawrence became the 3rd quarterback in the Super Bowl era to throw 4 interceptions in the first half of a playoff game. Can you name one of the other guys that did it?
Nathan Peterman.
I don't know. Maybe he did.
He threw. I know he threw 5 picks, but I think it was over a game.
Yeah, maybe he did. Well, one of them listed here is
Dan Fouts.
No, he's an analyst on TV.
That's what I'm saying. Dan Fouts.
Yeah, no, not him though.
Tony Romo.
Gary Danielson.
Oh God.
And Craig Morton, but it's just. So the other 2 comebacks, because I know a lot of people have asked me this. I don't know about you, but the other are Buffalo's rally. In 1993, they were down 32 points
against the Oilers.
Houston.
Yep. And then the other one was, which I completely forgot about this one, Andrew Luck's comeback against the Chiefs.
Yep.
Completely forgot about that one.
2014, 28 points they were down, and they beat Alex Smith and the Chiefs.
Yes. Yeah. That was before Mahomes took over. But, man, listen, I almost tweeted when it was 27-0. This was an embarrassment. This is an embarrassment.
Oh, I tweeted our new goal for the game, score a point. I literally tweeted that because
how was I supposed to know? It was 27-0, and then the 5th turnover, or it was 24-0. I can't remember when it was. When Clay Brooks had the turnover off his head.
That I was just about to say that was the lowest point in the game for me at that point.
I literally was like, okay, this is just not our night.
It was not his fault. That was a shitty punt. That was his 2nd shitty punt in a row.
It wasn't his fault. I agree. But
I'm like, how does this happen?
When that punt happened, when I tell you, I said to someone, does anyone have a baseball bat so they can hit me on the top of the head?
That's when the people to our right said, y'all have fun with this, and they left. I'd love to be able to speak with those guys now.
Bro, when that punt happened, I was like, are you effing kidding me?
Yeah, and to all the people that hated on us before the season about our decisions with our free agent acquisitions.
When did that punt happen? Was that in the first quarter?
Oh, I have it right here. Oh, it didn't say when it was. Sorry.
Because I'm looking at the game, the play-by-play, but it doesn't show anything about a muffed punt.
Well, anyway, when it was. We were the first team to win a playoff game with a turnover differential of -5 or worse. Teams with that turnover deficit have been 0-19 in the Super Bowl era. But anyway, what I was saying was to all the people that were hating on us for our free agency acquisitions, Evan Ingram, 7 catches for 93 yards and a TD. Christian Kirk had 8 for 78 and a TD. And Zay had 8 for 74 and a TD. So
the free agents.
Suck on that.
I will be the first and not the last. Trent Baalke, I owe you an apology. I was your biggest critic, and man, did I look dumb.
I think we all did, but I'm still not sold on him. I do like those additions this year, But 1 year doesn't make up for everything else, in my opinion. So
If he
do
wins
it
the
again.
Super Bowl, go ahead. I'll do whatever.
Sure, I'll suck his dick. I don't care. I mean, if he does that, hell yeah. Last stat that I had that I wanted to share, and this was actually the 4th coldest home game in franchise history. So
Did you feel the
it was
cold?
cool. I did, yeah.
I felt it for a little bit because I also had like 5 or 6 layers on.
I did not.
I did, luckily, and I still was kind of a little chilly. Luckily, I went inside. I was in the. Me and my cousins bought tickets in the club seats because we're like last minute we gotta just man up and buy some tickets.
Mm-hmm.
They were not selling. Someone had dropped hand warmers, like the unopened one.
Nice.
So I went ahead and just grabbed one, and it saved my life.
I wasn't freezing. I'll say I was colder pregame when I was tailgating because we were right on the river and that wind was whipping. That was cold. But once I put my hoodie up during the game, I was okay. It's really my ears and my nose that were really the coldest, and I was able to take care of that. But I had gloves if I needed them. I didn't wear those till after the game. But other than that, yeah, I did the old Bishop Kenny move. I wore pajama pants underneath my jeans.
I did not. I had like legging kind of material like under, so it keep me warm. But
I should have done that in hindsight, but the pajamas were actually really warm, so I'm kind of glad I did. Ooh, excuse me.
That game, I just have no words. Like
we had plenty of words. We've had 16 and a half minutes worth of words.
You know what?
Which, by the way, hey everyone, welcome to episode 86. 16 minutes into the episode, but 86. We are almost to 100, but this has just been fantastic. 31-30, as you all know, was the final. I want to look ahead now.
Let's do it.
We have confirmed the game is 4:30 on Saturday against the Kansas City Chiefs. As you all know, we did play them earlier this season, and I was correct. We were 3-7 after that game. The Chiefs were 7-2. They beat us 27-17. No points in the first quarter for the Jags. They scored 7 in the second, 3 in the third, 7 in the fourth. Patrick Mahomes was in Patrick Mahomes form. 331 yards, 4 TDs, and 1 pick. Trevor didn't have a bad game per se. 259 yards and 2 TDs. But it looked like, from looking here at the recap, it was another game where we couldn't get the run game going. ETN had 11 carries for 45 yards. That was very soon after James Robinson, right?
Yes, I believe James Robinson got traded right before.
Yeah, because he's not in the... Yeah, I think that was the first game, because I remember we finally saw a Hasty run, and we were like, oh, yeah, Hasty got the ball, and it was 1 carry for 4 yards. What is your key for the Jaguars to have a chance in Kansas City?
Stop Chris Jones. That's my answer, because I was looking at what JP Shadrick just posted of the divisional playoff capsule on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just looking through it, and I think this is the official team ones that they usually put in those little booklets that you see on in the Jaguar games. I noticed one thing immediately. Chris Jones, 15.5 sacks on the season.
1.5 came against the Jaguars in this game.
And our leading sack getter is Josh Allen with 6. So he is more than double what the Jaguars' leading sack rusher is. And I don't think the Jaguars have a lot of sacks as a team.
I don't think we're going to get a lot of sacks against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not hard.
Did we sack him? No, 0 for 0.
No, we did. Oh, we didn't? Oh, good. But yeah.
We had 5. Trevor got sacked 5 times for 19 yards.
Yeah, so if you can stop Chris Jones, you have a shot. Also, we need to find a way to exploit this secondary. The secondary is not very good. And you just can't also turn the ball over like he did. Trevor Lawrence, 4 picks.
You can't beat the Chiefs doing that.
No.
And that leads into my point. I think we need to get started early this game. We can't be playing from behind. This is a good Chiefs team. We already know what they're capable of. We can't just be sitting there going 3 and out after 3 and out. I know we have a good punter, but that's not going to save you. You can't make this defense get tired.
I was in Michigan that weekend for when we played the Chiefs, and I was checking the score, and I just see the Jags are kicking off. We need to do something very similar. We start off hot. We did an onside kick, and we recovered it against the Chiefs, and yet we got negative yards. I think in the end, we had to punt the ball.
Yeah, I remember listening to it on the radio and thinking,
we had to punt
let's
the ball.
Go, big balls move. And then we punted.
Like how many?
5 plays later.
Oh, so
5 plays, 15 yards.
Oh, so we did get positive yards. Okay. So you have to start hot against the Chiefs or find a way to slow them down.
Yeah, because right after that, we caused a fumble. And it was like, all right, yeah, momentum. What did we do? Punt.
Like
4
we
plays.
held the Chiefs with 2 drives until they started scoring. And then there were times where we forced them to they fumbled the ball, or Mahomes threw a pick.
Yeah, they had multiple fumbles.
Yeah, because Andre Cisco lit them up. And there were Chiefs fans were complaining that there should have been ejection.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's when like it became like the Cisco revenge narrative. Yeah. And then they fumbled on was that on the kickoff? That wasn't on the kickoff because they had a fumble on a kickoff too. Yeesh. And then they had an interception.
So
but
for
we were already
me,
out of
like
rage.
the way the Jaguars win this game, if I had to pick one key of all the stuff I just mentioned earlier, God, protect the ball is the easiest answer, but I'm gonna say sack Mahomes, get to Mahomes, get him uncomfortable, because their running game is a little non-existent. So Mahomes is gonna be the main guy, throwing 40, maybe 50 times this week. They're on a week of rest, pretty much a week and a half of rest. So if you find a way to, nice job.
Sorry.
If you find a way to stop or slow down, you're not going to stop Mahomes. Slow him down. Go have him throw for like 250, 300 with 2 touchdowns instead of the normal 375, 400, and 4 or 5 touchdowns. You're going to have a good chance of winning because I trust Trevor Lawrence, and people were ready to write him off after last week, and he just shut everyone up.
Yeah.
So I think the playoff jitters are out of Trevor Lawrence.
I agree.
And he's never lost a game on Saturday, so I'm hoping that performance still happens again this upcoming Saturday. So
And then we can all go to Waffle House. Do you know which one it was? I've been trying to figure it out.
You're the third person that asked me that today. I was like, I don't know. If I had to guess, he lives at the beaches, so I'd assume the one near the beaches.
That's what I told Elisa because she asked me to. I'm like, I don't know.
And
we went the next day and we saw a guy get thrown out.
Nice.
Yeah.
No normal Waffle House.
It was an
story.
old guy. He was wearing like all the veteran stuff, and
Speaking
he
of
threw a
Waffle
menu
House,
at
speaking of
somebody.
Waffle House and local, did you see Minibar?
Yeah.
Those dumbasses.
Can't do that, guys.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, they made a shirt literally ripping off the Waffle House logo, which I've seen a different one that other people have been wearing. I saw a couple at the game that was a Waffle House thing, but I don't think they're as big, I guess, as Minibar, so they were able to get away with it. But yeah, Minibar got clamped down by Waffle House themselves. They made a new version, not as cool looking, so not really.
Yeah, I would have never
interested.
bought that Duval house. Like, no. No.
We're not at the point of being. We don't need to be, like harping on little stupid stuff like that anymore. We can harp on just like
It was always the Jags.
It was always the
That's
Jags,
been a
yeah.
saying since
Which
we beat the Titans the
some
first
people
time.
don't like it.
Some people don't. I agree. I don't blame them. It's kind of weird. It's kind of
Scott.
cringy. It's kind of cringy. But,
I don't really care as long as we keep winning.
if we win, that is the trademark for the season. And people that don't like it can get over it because it's always
Well, Scott and I talked about it. I like the fact, and he said he liked it too. It's organic, It came from the Jaguars, the team. It didn't come from the corporate, I'm all in, bull
Scratch
crap.
and claw with Urban Meyer.
Scratch and claw. Ugh.
Yeah, so
Barf.
not to get a little too off topic, but back to the game.
Yeah,
I went on a tangent.
Hey,
we went on a tangent.
This is the Jaguars episode. It was all related to the Jags.
It was always the Jags.
It was all right, and Mike's leaving now.
No, but seriously, for the Jags to win the game, you find a way to slow down Mahomes on the defensive side. On the offensive side, you have to keep ETN involved. This week,
Yes.
ETN had over 100 yards. He was a key factor. If you can get ETN a little loose, you will have very good success against this Chiefs team because you will open up the pass game.
Yeah, this is not the same Chiefs as years past. They have some weaknesses.
Yeah.
And like you said, the secondary, we just got to expose it.
Now, as for the Jaguars to lose this game, if they're going to lose this game, you start off slow and you just can't come back.
And you don't establish the run, and everything that happened in the first half
Of
the Chargers game, we lose the game.
Yeah, because the Chiefs are not blowing a 27-point lead.
Yeah.
They will
Even half that. If we throw a couple picks, It's gonna be really hard to bounce back from that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
4 picks, dude, and we win the game.
At what point did you ever think about benching him?
No. Elisa was saying that to me. She's like, can't they put in the backup? I'm like, no, we're not going to put in freaking CJ Beathard.
CJ Beathard? No. I'm not. No.
That's not going to help our chances at all. It's like.
Someone I was listening to on a podcast, I can't remember who, said, "Why? I'm surprised they didn't bench him." I'm like, why the fuck would you bench him? You put him to learn through this shit. This is not. You're not in timeout. It's
not
here.
week 3 and. In a meaningless game. Or,
this is the playoffs. Win or go home.
Yeah,
they were home already, but
it's
like you're done. But
yeah, well, you know how people are.
Do you think Brandon Staley should have been fired?
No. Yes, he should have, and they're just going to use the scapegoat route because then they already fire the O.
They fired the OC, and the QB coach, I think. But yeah.
Hey, here's another thing. They're talking about Byron getting fired.
Dude, that still hasn't been confirmed yet.
No, they're talking about it, is what I'm saying. They're just talking about
because Bull said there's no decision made today. Man.
I talked to my friend
Tyler. We did
Tyler.
an episode on Byron Leftwich.
We really did.
In this time last year.
Yeah.
February, maybe?
I have it written down somewhere.
I can pull up the podcast history to see.
Well, while you're doing that, I talked to my friend Tyler, who is a Buccaneers fan, and he was telling me that it should be Bulls. Bulls should be the one that's out, but they're not going to do that. So Byron's going to be...
They'll find a scapegoat.
Yeah, and Byron, there was things that they were doing that they didn't make changes to that they should have made changes to, and that's the problem. Episode 57, that's when
January 26, 2022. It has almost been 1 year since
Is it called Byron is Our King?
You wrote Byron Leftwich ... because it wasn't official. Only person who tweeted it was Dilla.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
And then the next week and a half, we hired Dougie P. God, Dougie P. This is a topic I had with I forgot who I was having a discussion with. If Doug Peterson wins the Super Bowl here, granted, maybe not this year, if he wins the Super Bowl in Jacksonville, he's gonna get a damn statue here. That's for sure. When he retires, though, not when he's still coaching.
Right.
Is he the greatest coach in NFL history? To do something that no coach has ever done. No coach has ever won 2 Super Bowls with 2 different teams. Coaches have tried. They've never done it. 2 different teams. And granted, you got to take into consideration, one situation was a little different from the other. The Eagles kind of were good. Doug just took them to the next level. The Jaguars were bottom dwellers, as we all have known for the last 25 years, 30 years almost.
I think you put them up there in the conversation. For me personally, yeah, I would say that. Oh. But I think in reality, the consensus would be Belichick is still up there.
I think if he ever wins Super Bowl here in Jacksonville, he will be a top 3 coach in NFL history, behind Belichick, and I can't remember who I would put as number 2.
Vince Lombardi?
No.
25. This is just. I'll go to Athlon Sports here. If it's not a slideshow, all right, I'm just going to scroll down to number 1.
I think it would be Belichick and probably who's the Niners coach? Bill Walsh.
Okay, yeah. Number 1, Belichick. We already know he has 9 Super Bowl appearances.
That number right there is absurd.
Yeah, it's crazy.
6 Super Bowls in 9 tries.
Whether you love him or hate him, he's done really good shit, and you got to give him his props. Number 2, they have Vince Lombardi. I'm disregarding that because it's so old. It's a whole different style of football, so I'm just ignoring Vince. Don Shula.
He won 1, didn't he?
6 Super Bowl appearances, 2 championship wins, 16 division titles. I think what he gives him the edge is his coaching record.
Fair.
328 and 156 and 6.
Okay, so Doug could be up top 5. If he wins 2 Super Bowls in 2 different cities, that automatically, in my opinion, counts as a top 5 coach. Maybe top 3.
No, I'm with you.
Now, if he wins multiple here in Jacksonville.
Let me see his coaching record real quick.
I don't know if it's updated. Go on Pro Football Reference.
Oh.
So I don't know how.
Well, I'm just going to. Oh, it shows. Whatever. I'll just say it here anyway, whatever it says.
Go down to his Jaguars bio. Coaching record bio.
What does that have to do with anything?
Just go. Trust me. Keep going.
Jags total 9-8.
So what is the playoff? Does it include 2022? Yeah.
His one loss. Yeah. Yeah, 2022, 1-0. TBD.
Okay, so it does include. So
Yeah,
that's accurate.
51, 45,
So
and
that's
1.
accurate. I wasn't sure if the win-loss included
I
this
see
year.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
So if he's the next coach for the next 15 years and wins, let's say, God, hopefully just wins 1, I'd be happy. But if he wins, let's say 3, he's the greatest coach of all time. No one's gonna come close to that. 2 Super Bowls in 2 different towns is hard to do. No one's done it. Not even the great Bill Parcells did it. Bill Parcells tried. He's been to Super Bowls with 2 different teams, but
Your guy Bill Walsh, you're saying he only coached for 10 years, which people forget. It was very, very short-lived, but he's in the Hall of Fame. He's 3-time Super Bowl champion, 6 division titles. And he really, he revolutionized offenses, which Dougie P has kind of that in his repertoire too. He's really changed the game offensively. So, yeah, dude, I'm with you, man. I'm riding the train.
Again, I'm not saying Jaguars are winning the Super Bowl this year.
We can't guarantee any Super Bowls for this team at all. But if he
just
does,
give me a Super Bowl appearance,
sure.
I'll be happy personally. But
I would cry
if we lose. Don't.
No, I would cry if we got to the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well.
You know we already know how close we were in 2017. I was gonna cry then.
Bro, I could be in. Oh, I'm not saying. Never, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say because I don't know if Julia will listen. But, no, not that. What was I gonna say?
I don't know. While you're thinking about it, Paul Brown is on this list too.
Oh,
Joe Gibbs.
I found it.
Go
I
ahead.
figured it out. So, Doug. I'm not saying Jags are winning a Super Bowl. They may never win a Super Bowl, whatever. But man, we finally have a coach and quarterback we can respect and follow. Each team in their history has had that until the Jaguars finally had it now. Like if you give me all the teams except the Commanders. Well, the Commanders had it before. Like every team has had a quarterback that they have respected. Except maybe the Browns.
Bears. You have to go back like 30 plus years for the Bears.
Yeah, I guess.
We've
been
been around a lot shorter than them, but
I was thinking Grossman, but then I know people hated and liked Grossman. It was a mixed bag with Grossman.
it was a one-hit wonder.
People loved and hated him. Who was
They also love Jay Cutler too,
Jake?
who just threw
Smoking Jay.
He threw more picks to the Packers than touchdowns.
Okay, for example, Buffalo, they have another franchise quarterback now in Josh Allen. They had Frank Reich.
Bledsoe,
Miami
too.
had Miami had Bledsoe. No, I'm sorry, not Miami. Miami had
Marino.
Thank you. I was thinking Bledsoe because I see the Patriots. Bledsoe, Brady, Jets, and Joe Namath, and that's about. And Sanchez for a few years. They went to the AFC Championships for 2 years. They you have to give them credit. Back-to-back years.
Clipboard Jesus.
Impossible. I thought you were talking about that's
Nah, he's the original. Matt Leinart.
No. Clipboard Jesus was Charlie Whitehurst.
Him too. They were all were.
Kansas City now has Mahomes. Chargers had Phillip Rivers.
Are
and
you
now,
going through the entire NFL?
I'm just
right
saying
now?
every team has had
I
a
know what you mean.
franchise.
I know what you mean.
We have never had that.
Packers have had 2 in a row. I mean, yeah, some teams are blessed in that regard. I get it.
Like Pittsburgh had multiple. Well, 2.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like, except the Browns. Browns are just trash. But, like, and the Texans. Oh, no, they did until then he turned, well, you know. I'm just saying, like, each team has had that, and we have not had a quarterback and a coach we finally can respect and admire. Because holy shit, what the Jags have been through the last 27 years.
Okay, wait. So you're not going to say anything? You're going to diss Mark Brunell like that? He was loved.
Yes, but he wasn't that great. I like I said, I mean, Brunell was good, but obviously we were so young we didn't see him play. And I mean, I just run off stories on what people were saying about him.
I mean, I watched him play.
Well, okay, obviously you watched him play, but
he
you
was
were
on
like
the team until we were in 3rd grade. I watched football back then. Ouch. Sorry, I keep hitting my mic.
That's the second
I'm
time
thirsty.
tonight. It's usually me that messes with the mic.
He made the Pro Bowl with us. He's in the Pride. I mean, he was loved.
I don't know. I'm just not. I feel like Mark Brunell was very lucky to have 3 legendary players next to him. 4.
Oh, you could say that about some of the guys that you already named, like Joe Namath and stuff like that. Those guys weren't that great.
Joe Namath, yes, I'll agree. But I don't know. I just feel like Brunell is lower on the totem pole because of those guys. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
I mean, I get it. I always liked them.
I don't know.
What was
Like
that?
I don't know what it was.
I think it was just the pen or something. I don't know.
Oh, it was because I was moving the mic.
Who cares? Anyway, anything else you want to touch on before we wrap this bad boy up?
Don't doubt the Jags. Anything can happen. 5 years ago, we were touchdown dogs to the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
We went into Pittsburgh and beat that ass until we almost blew it. But we won the game. And also Saturday, as one of our favorite people, Ryan Hacker Green, tweeted,
Dude.
Saturday will be the 5-year anniversary of Miles Jack wasn't down. So, if the Jags want to remove curses, this season it's been breaking curses left and right. Saturday is a interesting game. And also the Chiefs have beat us 6 straight times, so let's just go ahead and end that streak. That would be lovely.
Yeah, I'd like to end that too.
Oh, and one last thing on the Jags-Chargers game. This is just absolutely hilarious. It is the largest NFL comeback. It is the largest comeback in NFL history for a team that did not force a single turnover. Just something to enjoy. And they are the first team in NFL history to have the worst record in the NFL and then win a playoff game the following season. This team is... I am proud of this team no matter what happens on Saturday. To get to this point, did you think... Like, if you told me in week 8 we're going to the playoffs, or we're going to win a home game in the playoffs,
I would have said you're crazy.
like, what the hell are those? Like, this year has been a very successful season.
I mean, we talked preseason that, like, our happiness would be just, like, maybe
7 wins.
7 wins.
6 wins even.
Yeah. Because that would have been a great improvement, you know? And now we're sitting here talking about playing the Chiefs in the playoffs. It's
with a spot with the AFC Championship on the line.
I love being able to talk with a smile on my face. And you know what? If we lose, I'm still going to smile because this season is still a win. No matter how you look at it, it's still a win.
The Jaguars are playing with house money. There's absolutely no pressure on the Jaguars going forward. Mm-hmm. This is all, whatever happens is great. And the Jaguars are in one great position for the next decade
it's like
plus.
you've just been given a credit card with no limit on it. It's just like, go have fun. No repercussions. Do what you want to do. And with that, I'm going to Waffle House. Let's go, bro. I'm out.
No, I'm not going to Waffle House.
No. Hey, one last note from our sponsors, Nerdy Nuts. I did get a new peanut butter in. I got the chocolate cake. I'm excited to try it because it's like one of their best flavors, supposedly. Have you had that one?
I have not.
We got to get some more people to buy some. I want to see more emails come through that somebody used our code. So if you haven't already, check out nerdynuts.com. Check out their newest flavors. They drop every Sunday. It is 10% off if you use our code, DIMES10. Super easy to remember. It's just our first half of the podcast and the number 10. Go on there, get yourself some peanut butter or some almond butter, and use our code, and we will be eternally grateful. We will also be doing some giveaways at some point, too, because we got some extra towels from the game. So be on the lookout for that as well. So without further ado, he's Mike Yashi. I'm Keith Manzi, and this has been another episode of Dimes on Duval, presented by Nerdy Nuts. We'll catch you guys next time.
Osiris Torrance, offensive line, Florida. I know.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
I love you, Trevor Lawrence.